when Tyler Bach transferred to South Carolina last summer. He was expected to be one of the big name additions for the Gamecocks out of the transfer portal after some very productive years from his time at Wofford. He'd be taking over as the everyday center fielder as well as the leadoff hitter for the Gamecocks this season. Both those things have been true, but at the same time, his numbers haven't really been up to the standard from what he did over the last few years with the Terriers. But Tuesday night presented a great opportunity for him to get back on track. For one, he was going up against his former team in Wofford, and also he had a friendly bet going with interim head coach Monty Lee. More on that later, but Bach lived up to the hype, getting the job done with a 4-for-5 night, leading the Gamecocks to an 11-1 win over Wofford here at Founders Park. Now, more about that bet. Monty Lee spoke to the media after the game and said that if Bach could square up a few balls and put some balls in play, then he would buy him dinner. And he certainly lived up to his end of the deal with those 4 hits. He had a single in the first inning, double in the fourth, and then in the fifth he hit a 3-run homer in what was a 6-run inning for the Gamecocks to really shift the momentum in this game. Now, as for where the two will go to dinner, hypothetically, we'll see if that even happens, but it's probably not going to be a place like Chipotle. Bach did say he would like to take Lee out to Hall's Chop House, a famous spot here in Columbia, so we'll see if that ends up happening. But he really had a good night tonight, really needed it for sure. He had been 1 for 17 in his last 17 ABs, so definitely a good night for him. But also a nice inning there for the Gamecocks in the fifth where they did get those 6 runs. Of course, Bach hit the 3-run homer, but Will Craddock also had a 3-run homer as well. In that inning, South Carolina sent 12 different batters to the plate. Only had 3 hits, but put together a lot of really good at-bats. And it really paved the way for the pitching to have a good rest of the night in the midst of what was already a pretty promising night for that pitching staff. Alex Valentin got the start on the mound, only went an inning, but he was really good and kind of a bounce-back performance after a little bit of a rough showing at Georgia on Sunday. Then after that, Cooper Parks pitched 2 hitless innings. Riley Goodman gave up the only run of the night, but it was unearned because it was on a wild pitch right after Eric Parker had made an error at third base. Patrick Dudley struck out the only 2 batters he faced. Josh Gregoire struck out 3 in an inning and a third. And then Elijah Foster pitched a scoreless 7th inning. So overall, really good night for the Gamecocks. They desperately needed this, snapping a 4-game losing streak. And they'll take on number 2 Texas this weekend at Founders Park. Series begins on Thursday night, 7 p.m. on SEC Network. Once again, South Carolina picking up a 11-1 win over Wofford here on Tuesday at Founders Park. For GamecockCentral.com, I'm Jack Veltri.